The Atlanta Hawks are currently the 9th seed with 4 wins and 4 losses stuck in that middle ground. With Trae Young leading the way, it's time to see if we can turn this team into a real championship contender in NBA 2K26. And taking a look at our roster, I definitely see a lot of potential here, especially with Trae Young leading the way. We got ourselves Kristaps Porzingis, who the Hawks traded for this past offseason. He's already averaging 18 points per game. Per 36 minutes, he would be averaging 25 points. We have Dyson Daniels, who's one of the best rim protectors in the entire NBA. Jalen Johnson, who's back from his injury and now averaging 21 points per game. Okongwu, Zachary Risachet, the former first overall pick. Hopefully he can end up developing into something here. And we also have Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who the Hawks traded for this past offseason, and he's already averaging 17 points per game to start off this season. As of right now, this is what the 9-man rotation will be looking like. So the starting lineup is going to include Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, Zachary Risachet, Jalen Johnson, and Kristaps Porzingis. And then off the bench, we have Okongwu, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Luke Kennard, and Vit Krejci. Let's go ahead and simulate a few games to start off this season and see how we do. The next game is up against the Toronto Raptors. Let's see if we can defeat this team. We do end up losing by 2 points, sadly. Porzingis did have 33 points, Trae Young had a double-double, and so did Jalen Johnson, but we do end up falling short. Can we defeat the Lakers? And we also end up losing to the Lakers. Trae Young played amazing, so did Porzingis, but sadly it was not enough. Let's go ahead and simulate the next week as well and see if we can win any games. We do end up winning 2 out of the 4 games in this week. We beat the Sacramento Kings, where Jalen Johnson dropped 30 points, 12 boards. Trae Young had a 24-point double-double, and so did Okongwu. And then we defeated the Phoenix Suns by 2 points, where Trae Young dropped 30 points and 15 assists, and Porzingis had himself 30 points as well. And we are rolling with a 4-star overall system proficiency, perimeter-centric under Quinn Snyder. And I do believe we will be pulling off some trades at this trade deadline, so I'm going to go ahead and start simulating until then, and I'll show you guys which trades we cook up. So currently I'm stopped here at the trade deadline, and we've been winning a lot more games than we did to start off this season, and we are the 3rd seed with 32 wins and 20 losses. So I don't believe we're going to be pulling off any trades at this trade deadline. I would like to see how this team does in the playoffs, and then depending on how we play, of course, we can pull off some moves in the off season. Trae Young has decided to sign a contract extension with our team, so of course we're going to go ahead and extend him. We'll give him a 3-year contract extension, paying him about $40 million per year, and he happily accepts. At the end of this first season, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander wins a back-to-back MVP, averaging 35 points per game. Cooper Flag, Rookie of the Year. Scoot Henderson, 6-man. Victor Wembanyama, Defensive Player. Neemias Queta wins Most Improved. Devin Booker, Clutch Player. Mike Brown wins Coach of the Year. And the Cleveland Cavaliers win Executive of the Year. Let's see if we have any All-NBA selections, and we do end up getting 2 players on the All-NBA 3rd team, one of them being Jalen Johnson and the second Trae Young. Do we have any All-Defensive selections? Sadly, we do not. That is alright. We did end this season being the number 3 seed, winning a total of 53 games and losing only 29. So we did continue playing good for the second half of the season, but let me show you guys the player stats before we jump into the playoffs. So for the regular season, the leading scorer on our team was Trae Young, averaging 24.5 points per game, as well as 11 assists per game, which is insane on crazy good efficiency. Then we had Jalen Johnson averaging a 21-point double-double. We had Porzingis averaging 20.5 points per game, 13.5 from Okongwu off the bench, 13.5 from Risachet, 10.5 from Dyson Daniels, and 10 from Nickeil Alexander-Walker. In the first round of the playoffs, we're going to be taking on the Milwaukee Bucks, who have themselves Giannis Antetokounmpo, Miles Turner, Kevin Porter Jr., Gary Trent, and Kyle Kuzma, and this is their bench unit. They were the number 6 seed, so let's see if we can defeat this team to advance to the second round. Game number 1 does go to the Milwaukee Bucks, though they end up defeating us here by 6 points. Game number 2 goes to us, and Trae Young drops 39 points, Okongwu at 19, 18 from Jalen Johnson, and we do also end up losing game 3 by a single point. Giannis had 28 points here on us, Trae Young had 25, 22 from Jalen Johnson. but sadly that was not enough. I was taking a look at how our team's doing so far, and Jalen Johnson is shooting 35% from the field, and I honestly do not believe Jalen Johnson can guard Giannis Antetokounmpo, so what I'm planning on doing is running Porzingis at the power forward position. That way Porzingis is the one guarding Giannis. He's averaging 4 blocks per game, so hopefully he can slow down Giannis just even a little bit. We will be running Okongwu at the center position. That means Jalen Johnson will be coming off the bench as our 6th man. So this is the lineup we're going to be rolling with for now against the Milwaukee Bucks. I do think we should play a lot better now, at least I hope so, but let's jump into Simcast and see how we do. The Bucks will have home court advantage for this game, and so far we do have the lead, and it looks like we will end up winning this game by 15 points. Trae Young had 39 and 12, Porzingis had 17 points, 15 from Dyson Daniels, and how was our defense? Giannis still shot 9 of 15, so he was amazing, but we did hold Miles Turner to 5 of 14. And just like that, the series is tied at 2-2 apiece. But can we win this next game where we do have home court advantage to go up 3-2? This game is going to decide a lot for the rest of this series, so let's see what happens. And sadly, it looks like we do end up losing by 5 points. Trae Young had 29, Porzingis had 23 points as well as 5 blocks, but sadly we still end up losing. We were able to slow down Giannis, holding him to 8 of 19 shooting, so Porzingis' rim protection came in handy, but somehow Kyle Kuzma dropped 19 points to defeat us here by 5. And now we're in a win or go home situation. Time for game 6. Can we push it to a game 7? We won't have home court advantage here. The Bucks have home court advantage, and so far we do have the lead. It's a tie game going into the 4th quarter, and they take the lead, and they're starting to run away with it, and they do end up defeating us here in the 1st round by 3 points. Trae Young was amazing throughout these whole playoffs, but there were some players that did not play well at all. Let's see how Jalen Johnson did. Yeah, exactly. Jalen Johnson's one of them. He was shooting 42% from the field. And now, sadly, we're out, but that's alright. That just means we need to make our team better this offseason, pull off some big trades in hopes to win ourselves a championship next season. But let's see who goes on to win a championship here, and it's the Knicks versus the Mavericks, and the Mavericks end up winning. I believe they were down 3-0, and they ended up coming back to defeat the New York Knicks, with Kyrie Irving winning Finals MVP. So I was taking a look at how our players did here in the playoffs. We played a total of 6 games. Trae Young was definitely not the problem. Bro was averaging a 33-point double-double, basically on crazy good efficiency. Porzingis was good. So was Okongwu, but Jalen Johnson was shooting 24% from the 3-point line and 42% from the field. Zachary Ricochet was also struggling with his shooting splits, shooting 30% from the 3-point line. So there's definitely going to be some moves we make this offseason. I'll show you which trades I cook up. And LeBron James decides to retire, so we'll let him walk, as well as some other great players. This past season, we were one of the worst defensive teams in the entire league. We were the 2nd best offense, but our defense was not there, and bringing in a former defensive player of the year in Jaren Jackson should definitely help out our defense a ton. I'm attempting to trade with the Memphis Grizzlies, where we send them Jalen Johnson, Muhammad Guy, and Nikola for Jaren Jackson Jr. Let's see what the Grizzlies say, and they do decline this offer, so let's start throwing in some 1st round picks. 1 1st round pick does not get it done. What about 2? And just like that, we've upgraded our defense by a ton by acquiring Triple J. I would also like to see if we can upgrade our head coach position from Quinn Snyder, so we're going to go ahead and fire him and see which other head coaches we can get. I've seen Nick Nurse is currently not a head coach for a team, which means we can get him, so I'm going to go ahead and offer Nick Nurse a contract. The most we can offer him is $10.3 million. Let me see if I fire these guys, will that allow us to offer him more? Which I believe it will, so now let's go ahead and see how much we can offer him. Now we can offer him $11.11 million. Let's go ahead and offer him that. We'll also offer Jamal Mosley a contract as well on a 4-year deal, and which one of the two will accept, so we do end up getting Nick Nurse as our brand new head coach. And now let's go ahead and simulate until team player options. This offseason, we have a big free agent signing we need to do, which is re-sign Kristaps Porzingis, so hopefully he decides to re-sign with our team. Otherwise, we're going to be losing him for absolutely nothing. But Zachary Risache, of course, we're going to pick up the team option on him, and we will let this other guy walk. I don't even know who that is. Qualifying offers, we don't need this guy back. Now it's time for free agency. Do we have bird rights on him? And we don't have bird rights on Kristaps Porzingis. Actually, we do, but it's just showing that we don't for some reason. But as you guys can see, we can offer him as much as money we would like to. And of course, we are going to be giving Kristaps Porzingis a contract offer. He was huge for our team this past season, averaging 20 points per game on 50, 40, 80 shooting splits. So let's see which offers he has right now. He's most interested in the Lakers offer, which is a 4-year, $115 million contract. So we just need to up it a little bit more than they're trying to pay him. He doesn't have a player option or no trade clause. Hopefully he wants to come back to our team, because that would honestly suck if we end up losing him here. And he is most interested in our contract offer, which is a 4-year, $120 million contract, and he will be accepting that deal. Besides Kristaps Porzingis, I also went ahead and gave a contract to Keon Ellis, Matisse Thybulle, Malik Beasley, and Ben Shepherd, and all 4 of these players do end up accepting. Here we are at the start of season number 2 with our new and upgraded 9-man rotation. The starting lineup will include Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, Zachary Risache, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Kristaps Porzingis, and then off the bench we have Okongwu, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Grayson Allen, and Keon Ellis. I do believe this season will be a lot better than we were in the previous. We signed some really good role players here in free agency, plus we still have players like Ben Shepherd and Malik Beasley that are sitting on our bench, not even getting playing time. So if there is a player in our 9-man rotation not playing well, we can always swap them out. Let's go ahead and simulate the next 2 weeks and see how we do. We only have 1 game in the first week, but we do end up winning 2 out of the 5 games, which is not too bad, but it's not good obviously either. We are below 500 at this moment. But I do believe chemistry still needs to be built, and that's playing a reason why we lost so many games. We have ourselves a new roster, and once the chemistry is built, we should be a lot better. And before I continue simulating, let me show you guys the system proficiency. We are running on a 4-star overall system proficiency, perimeter centric under Nick Nurse. I had totally forgot we got ourselves a new head coach as well. I do believe Nick Nurse can take our team to the next level. So at this trade deadline, I don't know if I'm going to be pulling off any trades. We currently are the number 6 seed with 29 wins and 22 losses. To start off this season, we were struggling big time. But these last few games from right here, I changed up our defensive coach game plan. We're playing physical defense now, and ever since then, we've only lost a single game, and our defense has been elite. So I do want to continue playing like this to see how we do, so we're not going to be pulling off any trades at this trade deadline. I want Porzingis to remain on this team as of right now. If anyone was to be traded, that would be Porzingis, but again, he's playing so well, I really don't want to trade him. So I'll see you guys at the end of this season, where hopefully we can win ourselves our first ever championship. Okongwu wants to sign a contract extension with our team. I am going to go ahead and extend him for the next 2 seasons, where we pay him about $12.5 million annually. And at the end of this season, Cade Cunningham wins MVP, averaging 38 points per game. That is insane. Cameron Boozer, Rookie of the Year. Jaden Ivey, 6th man. Victor Wembanyama, Defensive Player. Trey Johnson, Most Improved. Ja Morant, Clutch Player. Jason Kidd wins Coach of the Year. And the Mavs win Executive of the Year. Now let's see if we have any All-NBA selections. We do get Trae Young on All-NBA second team. Let's go. And it looks like that sadly will be it for awards, but that is totally fine. And we also get ourselves Jaren Jackson Jr. and Dyson Daniels on all defensive second team. We ended this season being the number 3 seed once again, winning a total of 51 games and losing 31. The first half of the season we were struggling, but toward the second half we won ourselves a boatload of games. And I am confident that we can win a championship with this roster. Let me show you guys the player stats for the regular season. So in the regular season, the leading scorer on our team was Trae Young, averaging 28.5 points per game and 11.5 assists per game on really good efficiency. And then we had Jaren Jackson Jr. averaging 18 from Porzingis, 14 from Okongwu, 14 from Risache, and 11 from Dyson Daniels. In the first round of the playoffs, we're taking on the Toronto Raptors, who have Emmanuel Quickley, Grady Dick, Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, and Jakob Poeltl. So let me fix up the player minutes, and hopefully we can defeat this team to advance to the second round. I fixed up the player minutes, and now let's get right into simulating. Game number 1 does go to us. Trae Young drops 32-point double-double. And we also win game number 2, and this time it's Porzingis dropping 35 points, 24 points from Grayson Allen in 16 minutes, and another 23-point double-double from Trae Young. Game 3 also goes to us. Let's go. This time it's Dyson Daniels leading the way with 25 points, 24-point double-double from Trae Young, and we sweep the Toronto Raptors to make it to the second round, where Trae Young dropped 44 points and 15 assists. And in the second round, we're taking on the Detroit Pistons, who currently have the MVP Cade Cunningham. So far, Trae Young is averaging 31 points per game. Dyson Daniels playing amazing, 14 from him, 17.5 from Ricochet. Jaren Jackson Jr. is struggling offensively, but his defense is most definitely there. And Porzingis is averaging 23.5. And the Detroit Pistons did make some changes to the roster. They do have Cade Cunningham. It looks like they traded for Lou Dort. They also still have Asar Thompson, Tobias Harris, and Jalen Duren. And this is going to be their bench unit. Let's see how things go here. Game number 1 does go to the Pistons, and Cade Cunningham dropped 58 points on our head. Holy. I definitely don't want Trae Young guarding him, so let me come up with a defensive coach game plan where Dyson Daniels will hopefully lock down Cade Cunningham. I came up with a defensive coach game plan. Let's see if that's going to help us out here in game 2. And it does help us out. We end up winning this game by 2 points. We did hold Cade Cunningham to 35 points. I mean, he still played amazing, shooting almost 50%. But Trae Young had himself a 29-point double-double. Triple J had himself a 23-point double-double. Game number 3 also goes to us. In this game, we end up winning by 50 points. Holy, we scored 152 points and the Pistons only scored 102. Trae Young had 29 and 16, 28 from Triple J, 25 and 10 from Porzingis. It's time for game 4, which we also end up winning. Here we outscore them by 11 points. Triple J led the way, putting up 29 points. Trae Young 23, and Dyson Daniels 2 assists shy of a triple-double. Now we just need to win one more game before we advance to the conference finals. Can we defeat the Pistons here in game 5? We do not defeat them in game 5. They beat us here by 3 points. Let's jump into Simcast for this next game, where we do have home court advantage. And we do start off with a win so far, but they are winning and they end up beating us by 2 points. We almost came back there in the fourth quarter, but sadly we could not. Trae Young played amazing. Zachary Ricochet had 21, Porzingis 19, but sadly we still end up losing. Triple J did foul out. We had 3 players that fouled out: Porzingis, Okongwu, and Triple J, all 3 important players to our team. That is unacceptable. Now it's time for game 7. I did adjust some shot tendencies for our team. Let's see if that's going to help us get this win. The Pistons will have home court advantage for game 7, but we do start off this first half really strong, and it looks like we will end up winning this game, scoring 143 points. Trae Young dropped a 46-point double-double. Okongwu had a 23-point double-double. Dyson Daniels with 17. Cade Cunningham still had 44 points, and throughout the playoffs, bro was averaging over 40 points per game. But now we're in the conference finals, either going to be taking on the New York Knicks or the Pacers, and it will be the number 1 seeded New York Knicks, who have themselves Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, and Karl Anthony Towns. Hopefully we can upset the 1-seeded New York Knicks. Let's see what happens. Game number 1 does go to us, and Trae Young drops a 39-point double-double, Porzingis 26, and Dyson Daniels with 23. Dyson Daniels has been playing really good here in the playoffs. He's averaging almost 3.5 steals per game. Game number 2 also goes to us. Trae Young drops a 45-point double-double, 17 from Triple J. And where is our boy Dyson Daniels? He had himself 2 steals in that game. Game 3 also goes to us, so we're up 3-0 against a 1-seeded New York Knicks. Trae Young dropping a 32-point double-double, 29 from Porzingis. Now if we win this game, we make it to the NBA Finals, and we do end up sweeping the first seeded New York Knicks. Dyson Daniel dropped 29 points, 3 steals and 2 blocks, 23 from Triple J, a 20-point double-double from Trae Young, and a double-double from Porzingis as well. It looks like the Dallas Mavericks are going to be the team we face in the finals, and that's exactly what it's going to be. Cooper Flag wins Western Conference Finals MVP, and Trae Young, Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Let's take a look at this team if they made any changes. They still have Kyrie Irving, Max Christie, Cooper Flag, Anthony Davis, and Derek Lively II. They were the number 1 seeded team in the Western Conference, so let's see if we can defeat them here in the NBA Finals. Game number 1 does go to the Mavericks, and Kyrie Irving drops 47 points. I want to set a coach game plan before we even advance. I want Dyson Daniels guarding Kyrie Irving, so let me go fix that up. Alright, I did come up with the defensive coach game plan, and game number 2 does end up going to us. We defeat them here by 13 points, and we did play really good defense on Kyrie Irving, making him turn over the ball 5 times. Trae Young had 27 points, 17 assists, 23 from Dyson Daniels, as well as 4 steals and 3 blocks. Triple J with 22 himself. Game 3 also goes to us, and here we end up winning by 13 points once again, and our defense on Kyrie Irving has been amazing. Let's go. Dyson Daniels is doing his thing. He had 3 steals and 3 blocks on Kyrie Irving. Trae Young had a 32-point double-double. Time for game 4, which we do end up losing here, and they tie up the series. Triple J had 25. Trae Young did not score as much as I would hope for him to, and they do end up tying up the series. I adjusted some shot tendencies. Time for game number 5. We won't have home court advantage, but hopefully we go out there and get this win. And so far the Mavericks are winning this game, and they are up by quite a bit. It looks like they will end up winning this game, sadly. Trae Young had 21 points, Porzingis had 16, Dyson Daniels with 15, but we still do end up falling short. Kyrie put up 26, AD 24, and Cooper Flag 24 as well. Hopefully we can win this next game and tie up the series. Let's see what's going to happen. We do have home court advantage here, and so far we do have the lead. We start off the first half pretty strong, but they are pushing back here in the 4th quarter. Let's slow this down and see what happens. We need to push back here in the 4th quarter, and it's a really close game here, but we are starting to kind of run away with it, and we do end up winning this game. Thankfully, they almost came back in the 4th quarter, but luckily they didn't. Trae Young had 33 points, 12 assists, 29 from Dyson Daniels. How was our defense on Kyrie? We held him to 12-25 shooting, 4 turnovers, and AD 6 of 13 shooting with 5 turnovers. Both teams in a do-or-die situation. Game number 7, we won't have home court advantage, but can we get this win? And so far it's a close battle here. They're up by 5 points. Please, let's push back here in the 4th quarter. Now they're up by 4 points. Let's slow the simulation down and see what happens. We are starting to push back here. They're up by 2. And it looks like they will be winning, and yeah, sadly we end up losing here in game 7 by 4 points. Trae Young did do his thing, but sadly that was not enough. Porzingis shot 5 of 15 when we needed him most. And just like that, the Mavericks are the NBA champions, where we made it to the NBA Finals, Game 7, and end up losing. I was about to say losting. What am I saying here? 22 games we played. The leading scorer was Trae Young, averaging 30 points per game, 18 from Porzingis and the rest of the team. And in the NBA Finals, Trae Young was averaging 24 points per game, 21.5 from Dyson Daniels and the rest of the team. I am planning on pulling off some big trades this offseason. We need to make this team better. That way we can truly contend for a championship and win a championship. Well, we were contending, but now we need to win a championship. The first trade I'm going to be pulling off this offseason is sending Kristaps Porzingis to the LA Clippers for Zubac. There's 2 reasons why I want Zubac on his team. It's his defense and rebounding. And those are 2 categories we were slacking in this past season, so Zubac should help us out a ton. The next trade I'm going to be pulling off is trading away Triple J to the Indiana Pacers for Pascal Siakam. Pascal Siakam is a way more consistent scorer than Triple J, plus Pascal Siakam is basically the same, well, not the same level of defender, but he can also defend at a very high level, so we're not losing much by getting rid of Triple J, so we are going to be bringing in Pascal Siakam to be the brand new starting power forward. We don't have any picks in the 2027 NBA draft, so let's go to team player options and see who we need to bring back. Zachary Risacher, of course, we're going to pick up the team option on him, and we'll do the same for Asa Noel. Qualifying offers, we don't have to re-sign anyone in free agency, which is really good for us. And yeah, there's no one to re-sign here in free agency, but I will finish filling out the rest of this roster, and I'll see you guys at the start of this next season. Here we are at the start of this season with our 9-man rotation, and the starting lineup will include Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, Zachary Risacher, Pascal Siakam, and Zubac, and then off the bench we have Okongwu, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Josh Hart, and Jake LaRavia. So last season we were one of the worst rebounding teams in the league and the defensive team in the league, but now since we got Zubac, he's a better defender than Porzingis and also a way better rebounder than Porzingis was as well, so hopefully those two categories should get a lot better. Let's go ahead and simulate the first week and see how we do. We do end up winning 2 out of the 3 games. We scored 148 points against the 76ers. Trae Young had 30, Pascal Siakam 29, Dyson Daniels 23, Okongwu with 21. And then against the Spurs, Trae had 29, 28 from Pascal, 21 from Risacher. So far, Risacher is playing well, so is Pascal Siakam and Trae Young. Our overall system proficiency has gotten way better than the previous season. This time around, we're running on a 4.5 star overall system proficiency, perimeter centric under Nick Nurse. And this season, we win the NBA Cup with Trae Young winning NBA Cup MVP, averaging 29 points per game, as well as 10 assists per game. Let's see which team we took on here. We took on the Dallas Mavericks, and Trae Young dropped 33 points. Risacher had 19, Pascal Siakam was 17, and Okongwu had himself a double-double. There's one game remaining for this season, and Trae Young is in the reward races to winning MVP, so let's go ahead and see if he's going to be winning MVP this season, and he will be winning his first ever MVP, averaging 28 points per game, 2.5 rebounds, 11 assists, shooting 48% from the field, and nearly 40% from the three-point line. Mark Sears wins Rookie of the Year, DeJounte Murray 6th Man, Victor Wembanyama DPOY, Nate Dement wins Most Improved, Ja Morant Clutch Player, Jason Kidd Coach of the Year, and the Mavs also win Executive of the Year. Of course, we get the MVP on All NBA First Team. Do we have any more selections here? Sadly, we do not. We do get Dyson Daniels on All Defensive First Team, which means he may have been in the race to winning Defensive Player of the Year, but sadly, he did not. And it looks like that will be it for awards, and this season we ended the season being the number 1 seed, winning a total of 67 games and losing only 15. So with those trades we pulled off, clearly our team got a lot better than the previous season, but let me show you guys the player stats before we jump into the playoffs. So the leading scorer on our team was Trae Young, averaging a 28-point double-double. 20 points per game from Pascal Siakam, 15.5 from Dyson Daniels, 15 from Risacher, 12.5 from Okongwu, and 12 from Zubac. In the first round of the playoffs, we are taking on the Boston Celtics, who have Anthony Simons, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Jonas Valanciunas. This team does have a 72 overall as their starting center, so we should be able to take advantage of that. Let's see how things go. Game number 1, we do end up losing. We win game 2 and 3. We're up 3-1, and we gentlemen sweep the Boston Celtics to make it to the second round. So far, Trae Young's averaging a 26-point double-double, 17 from Dyson Daniels, 16 from Risacher, and Pascal Siakam 20 points per game. Now we're in the second round, taking on the Detroit Pistons, who have themselves Cade Cunningham, Lou Dort, Asar Thompson, Ron Holland, and Jalen Duren. Let's see how things go. We do end up losing game 1. Cade Cunningham drops 47 points. Again, I will come up with a defensive coach game plan, just like we did last season, having Dyson Daniels guard Cade Cunningham. Coach game plan has been set. Can we win this next game? We do end up winning and tying up the series. We almost defeated them by 40 points. Dyson Daniel had 26, almost our entire team in double-digit scoring. Game 3, we do end up losing here. It's Cade Cunningham with 33 points. We lose by 9. Let me adjust some player shot tendencies, and Trae Young did foul out here, which is probably a big reason why we lost this game in my opinion. Let's jump into Simcast for game number 4, and hopefully we can tie up this series. The Pistons will have home court advantage, and so far we do have the lead by quite a bit, and this defensive coach game plan has worked out. Trae Young drops 29, Ricochet with 29, Pascal Siakam with 25, and we held Cade Cunningham to 20 points here with 4 turnovers. Can we win this next game? And that's exactly what we do to go up 3-2, and this time we held them to 84 points, so our defense is on point right now. And we defeat the Detroit Pistons here in game 6 to make it to the conference finals, taking on the Indiana Pacers. We pulled off a huge trade with in the regular season, giving them, well, in the off season, giving them Jaren Jackson Jr. for Zubac. Or no, Jaren Jackson Jr. for Pascal Siakam, sorry, but they also got themselves Kawhi Leonard from the looks of things. So their lineup includes Tyrese Halliburton, Andrew Nembhard, Benedict Mathurin, Kawhi Leonard, and Jaren Jackson Jr. That's a pretty good team, but we do end up defeating them here in game 1. Trae Young, 36 points. We also win in game 2. We lose game 3. We win game 4, and we gentlemen sweep the Indiana Pacers to make it to the NBA Finals. We're either going to be taking on the Dallas Mavericks or the Timberwolves. Last season, the Mavericks made it to the NBA Finals and then defeated us in Game 7, and it will be the Mavericks once again, with Cooper Flag winning Western Conference Finals MVP, Trae Young Eastern Conference Finals MVP. They still have the same team: Kyrie Irving, Max Christie, Cooper Flag, Anthony Davis, and Derek Lively. Hopefully we're better this season. Our younger players did progress a ton, like Dyson Daniels and Ricochet from the previous season, but so did Cooper Flag for the Mavericks. Game number 1 does go to us, and how is Jaden Hardy dropping 32 points? Bro's averaging 22 points per game off the bench. Trae Young 37 points, Pascal Siakam 22, and 20 from Okongwu. And we also win ourselves game 2 here, thankfully by almost 30 points. Trae Young 33, Pascal Siakam 27, Dyson Daniels 1 assist shy of a triple-double. Hopefully we win this next game to go up 3-0. We do not end up winning. They defeat us here by 1 single point. We only scored 98 points and they only scored 99. So both teams played really good defense here. And of course, they tie up the series here, defeating us by 9 points. Let me see what I could do. I should have came up with a defensive coach game plan earlier for Kyrie Irving, which I totally forgot about because I believe we have Trae Young guarding him right now. I did come up with a defensive coach game plan. Let's see if we win this next game. The Mavericks will have home court advantage, game 5, and so far we do have the lead. We start off the first half really strong, and we do end up winning, holding the Mavericks to 98 points, and Trae Young dropped 56 points and 11 assists. Dyson Daniels with 20 points, 2 steals, and 8 assists. We win this next game, we win ourselves our first championship. We will have home court advantage. Can we win this game? Fingers crossed. And so far we're starting off really strong, and we do end up winning by more than 50 points. Trae Young drops 42 and 15, 30 from Ricochet, 23 from Dyson Daniels, and 20 from Pascal Siakam. How was our defense? So our defense was pretty good. We did hold them to 102 points. And just like that, we win the Atlanta Hawks a championship. Let's see who wins Finals MVP. Of course, it's Trae Young winning Finals MVP, averaging 36 points per game and 11 assists on crazy good efficiency. Let me show you guys the player stats throughout the playoffs before I end out this video. So we played a total of 22 games, and in those 22 games, the leading scorer was Trae Young, averaging 31 points per game, as well as 11.5 assists, 19 from Pascal Siakam, 17 from Ricochet, 16 from Daniels, 12 from Okongwu, and 12 from Zubac. And here are the NBA Finals stats throughout the 6 games. Trae Young was averaging 36, Daniels 17, 17 from Ricochet, and 16 from Pascal Siakam. And that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, Please make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new for more NBA 2K26 rebuilds, and also click here on the screen to watch my latest upload. Until next time, it's your boy Dragon, and I'm out. Peace.